Yeah.
Look more carefully what's the materials that these objects are made out of. Or is it impossible to tell? Even if you want to pick it up, smell it, feel it, try to guess it.
Visually transform it into a totem pole.
Now, am I
And
right?
just being piled isn't going to do it.
You were
Oh,
gonna
no,
use
yeah.
this to wrap.
Yeah, I was
tie
gonna
around.
have like my wires and stuff coming out
know.
and, weaving in and out, and I wanted it to be visually interesting.
These could be wings, really.
Yeah, so
easily.
that's what I was
Wings,
thinking about.
right. The beaks, I think you're going to have to make some other.
Maybe a mouse.
Yeah, maybe you can do it with a mouse, or you can find some mouses that look like beaks.
Are you
and
sure?
turn that way.
That should
I
be some
have
weird
a sculpture where I've used a crank wheel and a mouse is the beak of this piece. I'll take a photograph of it and show you.
Yeah. What makes a tall structure a totem pole as opposed to just a tall phallic structure?
Right.
What is it about the design, the orientation?
Storytelling.
Okay,
Ooh.
there you go.
Progressive.
Fine, then that's what you have to do. Do you need any more help?
This could
No,
turn
I think
into the nightmare.
Like you said, I just need to get the structure up so I can actually see it and then start playing with it. The last time we met, she asked me what tribe I was from because she thought I was Native American, which is why I felt so connected to a totem pole. But I told her I'm not, I'm Italian. So that was kind of bizarre, but that's how I got on the subject of researching it, was because I needed to find out for myself what exactly totem poles meant to certain tribes and how they're represented in certain tribes. And I started researching the internet and encyclopedias, and it was very interesting. So that's how I came about with my totem pole now. It's changed a little.
Good.
No, we didn't bring it level.
Drill it in.
Concept here is a self-contained water recycling unit, so that it has the toilet on one side, it has a lot of filters here, and the water goes up into this aquarium, which I'd like to have water, and I'm not sure if I would put real fish or fake ones. But
I mean, I can see it needs more structure, but how to build it and all that stuff, so.
Plywood.
Yeah, what do we got for dimensions? Is this 8?
where at?
8 by 8?
The wall in there is taller. This is 7 by 7.
Oh, that's easy.
And I was going to float it about a foot from the wall. And then my husband did tell me that my construction is not sturdy enough.
I was just laughing because now there's 2 husbands who are helping with the construction.
We have construction.
This whole part is a guessing on the part of the, like, so many years later by the survivors, what it was. And then the ironical part is the shape of these objects resemble their dwellings, buildings. And then, they conclude our ancestors thought about the housings, future housings in this in this form.
She'll have 8 or 10 of them. And once you make that selection,
Yes.
then putting them together, I mean, like showing them, and then seeing if that's enough.
Yeah, I think so.
I had this idea of making the room into a chapel, and I'm going to show the future religious figure. They are all going to be juxtaposed, like Jesus' head on Buddha's body, and just incorporate all the religions and mix them together.
Are they all guys?
No, some of them are girls. Globalization of the religion is going to make a religious figure change their original identity. You could have a brown Jesus or black Jesus.
Well, that's already happening. I mean, there's a temple,
Yeah.
there's a church, and like in Native American churches, a lot of their stained glass windows are all of the apostles and Jesus as Native Americans.
Yeah, so why not? This could happen in the
But-
future,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but the thing is that this is a different, are you working in the concept of the whole installation, of the whole group's installation? Is either seems like it has to be the chapel of the future, or else it has to be that they found, again, these archaeological digs where they found all these religious sections, parts of deities, and they put them all together in this bizarre way, thinking that this was what had happened.
How they interpreted what they found.
How they interpreted what they found.
I like that.
Well, then it would give you a sort of, didactic, a basis for, the didactics that you have, just like everybody else has,
I'm just worried about if some of them are foot tall.
You may need to build your shelf so the weight is down on this, which is down on this.
So they'll have legs. They're like real
Well,
table,
you can
or-
have legs, but you can put cloth around it, or masonite.
So this is the husband who painted the room, and he's gonna be my engineer and help me construct the whole thing. So that's the actual game board. That's a.
Yeah,
What is this? Put together this body, oh, you replace all the body parts? You replace the body parts.
We showed a photograph of the game, and then I superimposed different names on the parts in Photoshop.
the original. And I'll pull this off, and I'll reshape these metal parts in here. So
It's
that
gonna be
way-
half female, half male or something?
Yeah, and then when there'll be an object down in there. I mean, the way you play the game is there's an object down in there, and you have to take the tweezers and remove it. And if you touch the sides,
Oh, this is this operation, right? This
Yeah.
is,
so we've replaced all the parts with.
I got it. Breast
Oh, let me
implant, artificial insemination unit. One withdraws and one, you have to have something that looks like a turkey baster.
Electronic pain
One
reliever.
withdraws and one inserts.
Actually, you could do a penile implant too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could do a penile implant, right.
Here's doctor, journalist, lawyer, teacher, and physicist, and then their salaries. And the new ones are plastic surgeon, a retail store worker, professional athlete, public works manager, computer programmer.
$150,000. The daughter is bored. Collect presents. Modify your SUV. Pay $30,000 in upgrades. The major thing I think is they ought to be all the same scale, kind of in size.
The frame that I want to build
Yeah.
for that one, I want it to be exactly the
Yeah,
same
fine.
dimension as
Okay.
this, because the game of risk board is
Yeah.
similar in scale to this.
Okay.
So
Had you gone to a toy store or played these games or what?
as a child, I enjoyed playing board games a lot, but the opportunity didn't come along too often. But the artwork that I make now is has a lot of reflection of my childhood, where I interact with similar to what Bill was talking about, interacting with the landscape and the toy, and where those two merge. So to me, it still kind of fits in with the theme, but there's definitely a social context to it that almost using play as a strategy for it's inviting for the viewer to come in and look at it, because it's non-confrontational, but yet often a lot of the things that children play with today in society so reflect the future.
I'm doing molds of old fence boards,
Yeah.
and we'll just have pieces of the fence, but trying to reconstruct it as if
On
it
the
may have
wall?
been on the wall.
Yeah.
And below it will be these fossilized, simple bladed vegetation.
Oh, you're going to do that?
Yeah,
huh?
I'm gonna do
Okay.
that. It feels like personal archaeology is what I keep
Good, I
coming
think
back
that's
to.
good. What's the speculation of what it was?
They think it's a barrier,
Yeah.
but they're not sure if it was to keep things out or in. And I realized my entire childhood I was in a fenced area. I played my entire childhood. We built forts in there. It was where we hid, where we recreated World War II. I've got these little cars and little bits of bike license
I think that would be
plates.
really interesting.
Because I really feel it's becoming so personal, it's almost scary, but I think it'll be important for me too.
I think that's good.
To do it.
Better. Tell me that I'm going to see the back room painted and the little room painted and the
We can talk about
walls like patched and the nails out.
my way into the future.
I'm not sure if it reads as art because it looks so much like a science project. It looks like something maybe a kid would do for a science exhibition. But for me, what's come out of this is that we fall for the slick images, you know, the PR for the endangered animals. We think that something's going on, that we can change something, do something, and yet it's an empty promise.
This is the enigmatic power source. I wanted a power source that was coal, was nuclear, was all the polluting power sources plus maybe solar. It doesn't really come from anywhere. We don't know where it comes from, but somehow or another it has to be dealt with.
And this is how we stretch the slabs for people to walk on. And it actually gets some really nice imprints just from the sidewalk. Put the tire tracks going up the wall, the footprints going through the gallery. Perfect. Red is for red. I'm for red. I think the red captures the shadows and is much more interesting.
They're gonna be from anywhere between 6 feet to about 17 feet long. So some will be so long that they actually sort of scraping down.
And how big in diameter?
About this big.
Locate on the idea that you have enough animals for, okay, and keep it consistent and do it and stop yourself
From thinking.
from that kind of thinking.
Okay.
It's a different kind of
No,
thinking.
I'm not
It's
trying to
moving into a different
uncreate,
kind of
right? I'm not trying to uncreate the original idea. I guess I'm getting confused.
visual thinking as opposed to intellectual thinking, okay? Intellectual thinking is that kind of ideas, you know, you can just go off and 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 go off. Visual thinking is a much different kind of thinking. It's concrete, simple, and you make a step, and you make a step, and you make a step.
Okay.
And then you make the thing that you make the step. And you stop that process, because that process
Continues.
forever.
Right, okay. So,
Right?
back to what
That's the hard thing to do, is to stop and make it and then allow the next one to ferment enough to make it and then
Right.
ferment enough to make it.
okay.
Yeah,
Write it down for
get so
later.
busy with the making that it stops your mind.
Right.